Good morning, folks, and welcome to FYI. We hope that you guys are good. We hope that you guys are well. It is, believe it or not, it is Tuesday. I have to look down there, the 11th day of March. The month is almost halfway through, and we hope that you guys are good. You hit the ground running this morning. You're fired up for a new day, folks, and you are ready to go. Great to have each and every one of you on the live. You all know how we say it this Tuesday morning. We on the live. Good to see so many of you joining us. Good to have all of you here. Good to have Claudette Bobby Lewis on with us. Happy birthday, Marlin. Is it today, Marlin? Is it today, Marlin? Do let us know. Today is my mother's birthday. Yeah, it's my mother's birthday too. Believe it or not. So it means, Marlin, you're miserable as well. It means you're miserable too. Yeah? Merlin Stobie. Good people were born today, folks. Good people were born today. Dolly Anderson, Bantu King, good to have all of you on this morning. Rastaman, Ron Gulliver, good to see you on the live. How are you doing this morning, folks? Wherever life finds you this morning, we hope that you guys are good and well, and you're making the best of it. You know, you're not just living, but you intend to thrive. You know, that's our intention for this country as well. Good to have you all on the broadcast. Ronaldo, Cassius, good to have you. Dolly and Bantu. Oh, good to have Claudette here, Rastaman, and all the other folks joining us. Myrna. Myrna in PK area in Belladrum. Where are you this morning? The night was good at my end. It was good. Y'all, I just see visions. I don't dream, thankfully. So I tend to have a pretty good night rest, even except me and the pillow issue. Still fighting with the pillow, huh? Still fighting. Bantu. All the other folks, Leonard Fernandez. Len, thanks for the thing. Thanks for the thing. Rihanna Mingo, Everell. Good to have all of you on this morning with us. Wherever you're joining us from, Dawn is here. Yvette, Everell, Deborah. Good to have you on the live this morning, folks. Veronica, good to have you too. Oh, so much happening. So much happening. You know, they always call by the opposition this, the parliamentary opposition that. You know, and there's an adage, even a broken clock, you know, gets to be right twice a day. Even a broken clock. Yeah, and that's a hint I'm giving you. And I saw some reporting this morning to confirm some of our thinking on a national issue. Sometimes that's the thing, you know, time bears you out. Time bears you out. Don, Marjorie, Marlon Thomas. Right? Marlon says I'm a loving person. And I call a spade a spade. You see these Pisces people? Mm-hmm. You know, again we say pieces. Pieces. We a little crude. The Chinese say Pisces. The Pisces. They call us backward, you know. They call us backward. Yeah. Good morning, Marlon. Happy birthday, Marlon. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy 35th. Hope you're good. Good morning, folks. Donna Branch, come on down. How are you doing, Donna? I see Kirk is here. Kirk Anthony Phillips. Yep. Kirk Anthony says Bordnessa had a live in over 2 weeks. Your con got suspended, yeah. It's not for everybody. Yeah. It's not for everybody. I lost one of my buttons on my sleeve. Lord of mercy. trying to put on the jacket. You see this old age thing I tried on. I like it. Trying to put on my jacket, the thing got stuck in a piece of the jacket and just ripped the whole button off. I feel undone. Good morning, folks. Nigel Plass. Good morning. John Walcott. Yvette Eastman. Some people say Yvette, but it's the same thing. Same thing. Yvette, good to have you. Marjorie, Baburam. Good to have Marjorie on the live this morning. Good to have, I know Marjorie Wade, lovely woman, lovely. I tend to find all Marjories. I didn't find a bad Marjorie yet. Don't tell me what one either. I won't find her on my own. I haven't found a bad Marjorie yet. But good to have all of you in the life. Folks, so many things happening. My mother's birthday today, Good to have all of you on. Looking forward to spending some time with her today. Yep. Looking forward to spending some time with her today. Good to have all of you. Looking forward to spend this time with you as well. Where are you joining us from, folks? Deborah Person says we got to hit the streets. I agree with you, Deborah. I agree with you. Got to hit the streets. This damn sleep. Got to hit the streets. Where's a pin when you need one? Got to hit the streets. I agree. Marcus Skinner, Mark Bradford. Good to have all of you on this morning. A couple of things we're following. This morning. As you guys are here, a couple of things we're following. This rung at Marlin's End, Lynette's End. My mother's name is Lynette too, by the way. Right? Lynette's tend to be good people. Generally, it's the March set. The March set. So those of you who are up north, you all know DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Well, a judge says recently that this department, a federal judge, a U.S. federal judge says, this Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, it is more than likely, right, a federal agency. And as such, this is Judge Christopher Cooper found that DOGE is likely qualifies as a federal agency and thus subject to the Freedom of Information Act. And he is rejecting the Trump's administration claim that it was exempt. You see, DOGE don't want people to know what they're doing. They want people to know the nastiness that they're doing. So the judge said they got to open up the records. Open up your records to show. That's how things happening in the U.S. None of these boys here. Not like these boys here. So they got to make known what's on their encrypted messaging, internal servers, and all of these things. All of these things. People need greater transparency. Apparently, a watchdog group called Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics, CREW, for short is the acronym, CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics, took them to court. Right? We got a Commissioner of Information here. Try getting anything out of him. Try getting anything out of him. It's different, eh? And you still gotta admire the US in all the trials and travails. In spite of that, right, the system can work. The judge says you would qualify as a federal agency. Open the books. Open the books. So them boys gotta open the books. And as we come a little closer to home, folks, we got a new OS, Organization of American States, Secretary General. He's a former, I think he's a former Foreign Affairs Minister of Suriname, our next door neighbor. And this is Albert Ramdin, adding the two. Congrats to him, Alberto Ramdin. Of course, them boys here can try to make friends quick with Albert because they can try to make friends quick with Albert. Said he's the first Caribbean national to hold the position. Good. First Caribbean national. As I said, congrats to Albert Ramdin. Paraguay, they tell us, withdrew from contention, and this allowed Ramdin to serve this 5-year term from 2025 to 2030. Right? Of course, again, it's a significant milestone for the Caribbean, and he expressed or rather, our Ghana's Foreign Secretary, Robert Passan. Robert. He's extended or rather expressed optimism for continued collaboration with the OAS, particularly on regional security and territorial issues. So you're watching that, folks. Congrats to Albert Ramdin. First Caribbean son of the soil, hails from Suriname to hold the position of OAS Secretary General. Happy for him. Life is about stages. You don't stop where you start. Or you shouldn't. So happy to see Ramdin moving on. Folks, even a broken clock gets to be right twice a day. Even a broken clock. And we see sometimes lots of, I would dare say, unfair criticism. Lots of it to the opposition. And it hurts even more for me when I see your own brothers and sisters in arms beating up on you. You only got to slip. You only got to get an off day, and you will see brothers right next to you start writing letters to the paper. I distance myself. Oh, reprehensible. We got so much in this country we can focus on, and don't have to be shooting ourselves in the foot. That sounds like a preacher this morning. Who am I speaking to today? We don't have to shoot ourselves in the foot. So it was refreshing. It was refreshing to see this morning Starbuck News in its editorial talking about the need for a national policy on migration. It was very refreshing. Somebody tag a manza for me. It was tremendously refreshing because not 10 years ago, not 5, not 3, not 2, just this year, just last month, in February, during the scrutiny of the National Budget 2025, again, the learned Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Amanzo Walton, this year, dealt with this matter. Oh, and she was heckled and jeered and taunted by the government of the day, the installed regime. And this is not the first year. It's not the first time we have called for a policy on migration. Folks, a boat landed yesterday in Guyana, bringing scores, if not hundreds, of Venezuelans. I told you all. Right? You remember I sell myself as a political prophet. Not much. I ain't like big titles and so on. I'm just a political prophet. I told you all. With the US sending back those people, deporting Venezuelans back, and Venezuela in the shape that it's in, you think they're staying there? You think they are staying there? And just like Starbuck News said this morning, while we love our brothers and sisters and we're going to help on humanitarian grounds where we can, the thing needs structure. The thing needs order. And so the editorial says this morning that Guyana stands at a pivotal moment as shifting demographics and economic migration and cultural changes reshapes our nation. It goes on to talk about the influx of Venezuelan refugees alongside economic migrants from Haiti, Cuba, Brazil, and China, saying that this has exposed the lack of a structured integration policy focused on social, a structured integration policy, and this lack of a policy risks social fragmentation. It risks social fragmentation. Meanwhile, the editorial goes on, despite its booming oil economy, our country still faces economic hardships. We who right here, and you all know it's the truth. And those of you who are PPP, viewing us this morning, peeping we, you all know it's the truth as well. In spite of this booming oil economy, Ghana still faces a lot of economic hardship, fueling fears, the editorial says, of a brain drain that could erode our own cultural identity. You know this as well. This is something we struggle with, a cultural identity. It seems our culture is to assimilate other cultures. Our DJs talk with Jamaican accents. I mean, more power to y'all, right? We try to talk like Trinis and Barbadians, and we started to adopt carnival and downplay our very own Mashimani. I mean, look what they're doing with Linden. Linden, the birthplace of Mashimani, got $714,000 for the celebration this year. And PPP cares. So this could erode our cultural identity. And the editorial goes on to say that adding to these challenges is a troubling pattern of selective national recognition, where our heroes, village heroes or national heroes, remain overlooked unless political convenience. Overlooked. I was very happy to see the PNCR are focusing on you, Desmond Hoyt, over the weekend. We got a couple of stories to put out on that. I call you, Desmond Hoyt, the forgotten president. We ought to, as a country, honor all our presidents. All our presidents. What a thing it would be when Sheddy is being honored for us to go and be part of that. What a thing it would be when Burnham is being honored. Our brothers and sisters across the political aisle can be part of that too. Can be part of that too. That's the Guyana of the future. Them boys don't want that. Sabak News says it's a defining era for us, and we got to navigate it. The call is clear. Build a future that is uniquely Guyanese, grounded in shared values and collective prosperity. Shared values and collective prosperity. We need a national policy on migration. And as I said to you, this was raised quite recently by the parliamentary opposition in the Zephyr. Glenford Gordon, Pat Promo, Lester Williams, we raised this matter. National Assembly quite recently. The Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Amanzo Walton Desir, raised this matter, laid out the argumentations. Take a listen. Take a listen.
Mr. Speaker, let's talk about migration. Mr. Speaker, we know that the issue of migration is one of the single most troublesome issues for the Guyanese out there. You go into the street and you ask them, they are concerned, Mr. Speaker, about the unchecked migration into our country. They are concerned, Mr. Speaker, about this phenomenon. And Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Home Affairs, who is responsible for immigration, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who should be playing a leading role in the development of a migration policy, came to this house and uttered nary a word on this pressing issue. Mr. Speaker, it is crucial that we address the issues and the challenges posed by our porous borders, because these continue to expose us to significant risks and undermine our national security and our territorial integrity. Mr. Speaker, the Minister with responsibility for immigration, the Honorable Minister Ben, is quoted in the Stabroek News of January 20th, 2025, as saying that it is anticipated that the migrant population in Guyana will increase. But they have not laid out a roadmap to address this issue. Mr. Speaker, to date, the government is unable to provide a realistic estimate of the number of particularly Venezuelan migrants in our country. And the reason is clear, Mr. Speaker. It is because they do not know. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious, painfully obvious, from the fact that the members had nothing to offer us as to how they will manage migration into this country, that they have lost control of the migrant situation. And they have put our country, Mr. Speaker, resultingly in clear and present danger, jeopardizing our security and our sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, to mitigate these risks and to protect the integrity of our nation, we must immediately, Mr. Speaker, immediately establish a mandatory migrant registration system. Mr. Speaker, this system will allow us to effectively monitor the movement of individuals entering our country, to track the duration of their stay, and to ensure that migration, particularly across our porous borders, particularly, Mr. Speaker, across our porous borders, that they are monitored, Mr. Speaker, and to ensure that the migration is done in a more orderly fashion. Mr. Speaker, it will enable us to prevent illegal entries and track potential threats, including foreign agents and fifth columnists. And you know, when we say this, the PPPC government likes to say that we are invoking fear in the people of Guyana, but no less a person than their national security advisor is on record as expressing the concern that we do not know who we are letting into the country, that there are military men of age in our country, and we have no way of tracking them and no way of knowing their whereabouts. This is not what we have said. This is what their national security advisor has said. Mr. Speaker, further, refugees and migrants must only be granted temporary status until they can return to their homelands with a clear and explicit provision against voting rights. I repeat, with a clear and explicit provision against voting rights. Guyanese citizenship must remain a privilege and not a pathway to manipulation or long-term instability. Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable that the migration profile that the Honourable Member Todd launched in December of 2021 is to date incomplete. And he comes here and he does not offer any explanation to us for this untenable state of affairs. Mr. Speaker,
That is incomplete.
a migration profile is the cornerstone. It is the foundation upon which we will build a sound migration policy. Why are we harping on this, Mr. Speaker? Why is it that it is so important that we have a migration policy? Mr. Speaker, it was the Argentine diplomat, Juan Bautista Alberdi, who coined a particular phrase. He said, to govern is to populate. To govern is to populate. Mr. Speaker, and we as a nation have to be mindful that this paradigm is not being used against us to our detriment by the deliberate injection of population into our Essequibo. Mr. Speaker, we must place emphasis on enhancing our military presence along the border, much like the coalition did with Operation Armadillo. Instead of having our military men and women in blue t-shirts cleaning the drains in the city. Mr. Speaker, We must address our minds to increasing government-led investment in the Essequibo, Mr. Speaker, to incentivize the settlement of Guyanese in that region, even as we combat the effects of climate change, etc., along our low coastal plain. Mr. Speaker, we in the coalition have a vision for the development of the Essequibo. It is not by accident, sir, that the townships of Bartica, of Letem, of Mabaruma, and Madhya were established between 2015 and 2018. We just didn't wake up one day and decided we were going to do it. It was a part of a deliberate strategy to ensure that we establish, Mr. Speaker,
We didn't just wake up.
economic and administrative hubs for the development and the population of the Essequibo, Mr. Speaker. This is what national development requires. Carefully thought out plans, carefully thought out policies, and the capacity to implement and to execute. Mr. Speaker,
You can't break dance, you got to think.
when you travel the length and breadth of this nation, like I said before, the people are concerned about the abysmal handling by this government of the migration crisis. There's no policy in place, Mr. Speaker, and they intend to put none in place. But you know, we are in the age of abbreviation and mnemonics, and I'm tempted to say that this is the PPPC, postponing practical policy continuously, Mr. Speaker, and placing people's concerns. That is who they are, Mr. Speaker. We on this side of the House will implement a Guyana and Guyanese first migration policy. I repeat, we will implement a Guyana and Guyanese first migration policy because our policy will put the needs and interests of Guyanese first, unapologetically, while we responsibly manage migration to benefit national development, including the supply of labor, and while we emphasize protecting our local opportunities, preserving our cultural identity, and ensuring sustainable growth.
You heard that, folks? Welcome back. You heard that? Amanda Walton Desir, Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, laying out in depth and breadth what we believe should happen on this migration front. And in today's Starbuck News, the editorial is calling for a national policy on migration. You know what is frightening? The way we were able to go back to Amanda's presentation there. Todd can't do that, you know. The PP can't go back to the Minister of Foreign Affairs presentation. They could search from 2020 to 2025. You wouldn't find a line on a migration policy. They can't do that. They can't do that. And again, Starbuck News in this morning's editorial speaks to this issue very, very clearly, going on to say in the absence of this, you know, you get an influx of people coming from various places, which is good. Prima facie on the face of it, it is good. But your cultural identity could be affected. Look, the assault on our cultural identity. Could you imagine Mashramani started in Linden and it's being given such scant regard? Such scant regard. Here, the regional chairman talk about how much was given for MASH for this year. The birthplace of Mashramani, by the way. Our own cultural identity.
Region 10 allocation for 2025 Mashramani was 714,000. Afloat, I am certain that one of was on display by the Ministry of Health or so has to be about $6 million. So besides the float, we had to water down this float, the administration, because they keep saying we don't have the money, our budget wasn't increased, we received the same 12 million that we received in 2024. And so the float, our float I'm thinking it was just about 1.8 million something. And you know when the costume people got the when the service provider got the money to design the float, Sherrod, he got the 50% payment the day before March in Georgetown. Not a week before, not 2 weeks before, not at the beginning of January. The guy that designed the float for Region 10 got 50% down payment of his money. The day before, the 23rd, the 22nd, he's got his money. Or the Friday, I think it was. Late Friday afternoon. And so we received just over $2 million from the private sector. So far, based on the information coming from the departments and the committee, a commitment has been made from one agency for $1 million. We haven't even received that as yet. Our intention, from what I gather from the committee, is that they intend to allocate those funds to support the Kokwani Mash. All right? But there was a lot of confusion, and persons who had no knowledge of what was occurring sought to malign the character of the elected officials in this region and went into character assassination, insulting the mayor, insulting the regional chairman with no proof, with no evidence.
Yeah. Incidentally, our Venezuelan brothers and sisters, economic migrants, refugees, whatever category they fall in, they are inhabiting Linden in their numbers. Inhabiting Linden in their numbers. You know, so we got to watch that, folks. We got to watch that. One of the things we're looking at this morning, among the many things we are focusing on, so there's that call for the migration policy. Right? And you get a sense when you hear the regional chairman, there is a concerted effort to undermine Mash in Linden, to undermine what's happening in Linden. In today's papers as well, they talk about Ralph Ramkaran, a former PPP executive, former Speaker of the House, Speaker of the National Assembly. Talk about how the PPP scuttled any effort of power sharing in this country. They don't like the outlook, they don't like the worldview. Me, myself, and I, friends, family, and favorites, and the flatterers. Ralph Ramkaran. Sabak News carries the article in which he accuses the People's Progressive Party of abandoning Dr. Chedi Jagan's vision for power sharing, leaving Guyana's landscape deeply divided. Deeply divided. Sabak News quotes from a speech from Ramkaran Nation Building, Guyana Beyond 2030, and where he argues that despite Jagan's pre-1992 commitment to a winner does not take all governance model, the idea was never pursued once the PPP gained power. He stressed that political collaboration is especially crucial now. Ralph Ramkaran is especially crucial now. And this is, listen to me, this is as crucial for national government as it is for the parliamentary opposition. And I keep saying everything that is not PPP is opposition. That's how they see it. It's especially crucial, collaboration. Right? And he says it is especially crucial now, given Venezuela's escalating aggression, including this March 1 incursion into Guyanese waters near the Exxon Mobil floating production vessel Prosperity. Right. He says that while acknowledging the papers rather says that while acknowledging the current lack of political will for shared governance, Ramkaran has urged continued dialogue to keep the possibility of reconciliation between Guyana's major political forces alive. They ain't happening on the Jack Deal. They want Nobel Prize for peace and so on, everything else, but not for reconciliation between the major political force. Anything else, not that. Anything else, not that. Not that. $1 trillion budget. $1 trillion budget. Rat, bat, pigeon. Fighting our teachers in schools. Fighting our students in schools. Kukwani teachers are on a sick out, sit out, strike, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. This was the same at, what school is that? Tutorial? No, that's Wolford. Charlestown Secondary recently. Pigeon infestation forced the shutdown of the school. This was happening at Kokwani currently. And so, learning has been disrupted there. Learning has been disrupted. The teachers have refused to work until urgent action is taken to address the severe pigeon, bat, rat infestation affecting the health of the student and the staff. So when school closed and so on, what kind of monitoring and checks and so on is done by the ministry? And in the middle of the school term, this is something that is affecting them. Like these schools are only checked and supervised and so on paper. The staff said that the infestation has led to contamination of classrooms, respiratory issues, among other health concerns. And now the educators and parents are demanding the intervention of the ministry. What are these people doing? What's Priya doing? You know? A lot of movement, you see, but you're not in progress. And now the chief education officer, Saddam Hussein, he says that a contractor has been identified to sanitize the school. And work is set to begin soon. Yeah. He now coming to sanitize. Fed up all them. You know, always reactive and not proactive. Always top to bottom. Top to bottom. You know, folks, what a difference. What a difference a weekend makes. What a difference a weekend makes. Remember we saw with Azradin visiting Lima Sands over the weekend. One of the villagers had a bottle of water. He said, this will coming through the tap. It's Mobby. You know, it's black cherries. Pepsi coming through the tap. It's Malta coming through the tap. Well, Junior Bay run out. Or they were sent out. They ain't saying nothing all the time, you know. They ain't doing nothing all the time. Suddenly, the thing exposed. Certain exposures. Junior Bay run out now. So we got y'all. We got y'all. You know, like the man in the loud hailer. Don't forget what we do for you. Don't forget. So they've announced plans to enhance the water quality at Lima Sands. Folks, y'all believe this? Y'all hearing this now? Denise, Don Sullivan. This is the PP government, you know. Jacqueline Johnson, Wenda, Donna Barry. They say we're coming to improve the quality, though. Hold on. Naomi Drucker, you hearing this? They said this is these plans are part of the Coastal Water Treatment Infrastructure Program. Valerie Clark said nonsense, top to bottom. Nonsense, top to bottom. Right? They think if you have a big abbreviation, people say, yeah, boy. You know, you got a nice fancy abbreviation. You drinking that Malta water, and you think it's crystal clear and purified. with a big title for a program like that. Coastal Water Treatment Infrastructure Program. 5 years in. 5 years in. Lima Sands is not Timbuktu. It's not Timbuktu. They say the water color is due to high iron content. Like, duh. So we come in. We come in. We come in. Right? Naomi said it is contextual. It is contextual. Correct is right. It is contextual. You know, here's our engagement over the weekend with the residents with T. Mohammed in Lima Sands about the water and the rice farmers. The rice farmer had his own concern as well. Take a quick look.
Each and every one of us standing here because the people in Lima Sands, we have a lot of issues. The ministers, nobody in the offices don't come in to visit us. Since this road finished, nobody even come in to see what's going on. They give us a pump. They say they're giving us water, right? Today, everybody watching them as you have to know what is in this water.
That was pepper salt.
No,
There's the water.
this is the water they're giving people.
Yes. Yes,
This is the water.
Hey, you can't go white clothes.
And I want to know why we must not get a change in this country. We need a change in this country, and we need someone to be there that's not only going to be there for themselves, but it's going to be there for the people. So, Mr. Mohammed, as long as you're running for president, we are going to support you 100%. Yeah, everybody here going to support. This is the water.
This is the water.
This is the water we get in this community.
This is what the children got to
This is
use.
what the children got to use. And yes, this. And they say we get it like the town in
And
Dubai,
they
you
still
know.
care about the people.
The people.
Yeah.
But when I said Dubai and me see this water, you know what me say? Oh my guy. Seriously, oh my guy, because we can't become like Dubai with this water here. We can't become. Guyana is known as a land of many water. And if we're known as many water, and a rich country, we're not supposed to be using this kind of water in this
Second,
country.
I said looking at the population with Charity and Lima Sands to give them more clear water too. So Charity might be getting it because their population more higher than Lima Sands.
Imagine when they hear Mr. Mohammed coming in, they block the road, so.
Yeah.
We even have videos, so what they threaten me that, you know what they tell me, Mr. Mohammed? They say, you, I'm gonna deal with you. They point the finger to me. They say, I'm gonna deal with you. The mayor and the CDC chairman from this community threaten that they're gonna deal with me. Yes.
Last heritage.
So, Mr. Mohammed, we need a change. It is high time now. We need a change, and we need you to run for this election because you're gonna win. Everybody need a change here? Come on, say change! Change! You're gonna be the next president.
Me a rice farmer, right? Them give right now they care about we. Right now them are trying to do price and this and that, right? But all the time, nothing.
Yeah, still lighting a lantern lamp here. And we don't live too far from the current. And then I carry it down.
In this day.
Yes. And still there them so long. Time for we get change.
And for the youth they don't got no entertainment. They build a battlefield and lock it up, chain the gate. If can't play volleyball, football, nothing, Mr. Mohammed. The guys where they got turn to? Not smoke weed?
Yeah.
You understand? Nothing.
You look at if 100,000, what can it do for a family? What can it do maybe for even a husband and wife? And they're saying that this would start a business or do something. It can't do anything much.
Yeah, you heard it there, folks. And as a result of that, the Guyana Water Incorporated, it says quality water coming to Lima Sands, Region 2. It says yes. It's part of the Coastal Water Treatment Infrastructure Program. Naomi echoing the opposition. This is contextual. Contextual. Folks, what will happen in a year? It's happening in a weekend. What will happen in 5 years? It's happening in a weekend. You see this thing called election? You see this thing called elections? It got consequences. Elections got consequences. They got consequences. Vishnu Bisram fashions himself as a pollster, as a political commentator, political analyst. Vishnu Bisram. Right? He says that Ashruddin split the PNC and PVP votes, but he can't win an election. This is a piece of commentary appearing in Demoir Waves. See me all the reading. Yep. He's saying split the votes, but he contends he can't win. You know. That's what he says. I ain't been facetious. He says he's been gaining public support. You tell me if he's right. He's been gaining public support amid calls for him to contest Guyana's upcoming elections. But Bisram says that he faces major hurdles, including the sanctions for alleged tax evasion in the US. And that while Mohammed has drawn a diverse following through his philanthropy and his social media presence, political analyst Bisram argues that his success hinges on assembling a credible team and crafting a strong grassroots campaign. Bisram predicts that Mohammed's potential candidacy could disrupt, as I said, traditional politics, splitting the votes from both the PPP and PNC, and possibly reshaping Guyana's electoral landscape. Yeah. Bisram, that's what he said. Piece of commentary there. What do you guys think? That's important to me. Simone Graves. Simone says he's right. Simone says he's right. Sion James, he wrong. You see that? You can never please people. He right, he wrong. You know? Change must come, Gail Alicock says. Change must come. Dolly Anderson says he's on point. Dolly Anderson says he's on point. Let Me Go says Trump was convicted and sentenced. He's telling the White House. I had the White House piece. Trump was convicted and sentenced. Don Sullivan says he's right. Don says he's right. Andrew Griffith says the PP supporters seem fed up of their party's governance style. I think you're right, Andrew. You're right, Andrew. Bantu King. Bantu says what people see in Mohammed is money. Is money and lots of it. I love these comments. You're bright for so. People see money and lots of it. Leonard Zephyr says he's right. Yes, he's right. He is right. Ali Cock, P. Ali Cock says, my guesstimate, I love it. My guesstimate is that PPP will garner 30% of the votes if the current situation remains the same to election day. If young Mohammed enters the arena, right, that percentage will be reduced drastically in a bad mood. It will reduce drastically. Pierre Lecoq giving his views there. Right? Countryman 592 says, Guyana, please don't think America will come to our rescue. Right? Don't think Guyana will come to our rescue with a cost to Guyana. Without a cost to Guyana, I think what is meant. Without a cost to Guyana. Herman Bailey, the Bisram is right. Brenda Moore said change must come. Good morning, Auntie Sandra. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sharon Costello Edwards says money rules the world. Isn't that the truth? Money rules the world. Yep. Sandra says PP running scared. PPP running scared. Sion James says Sheriff Muhammad runs. Or if you do decide to contest, you best go on board. The Guyanese people fed up. Look at you, okay. Look at you, I'm getting the messenger involved now. Sheriff, go on board. Get on board. Let me go. Pack promo. Good to have all of you on the line this morning. Let us leave it there, folks, until we see you guys on the other side of the day. That's what Bisram is musing today. I was musing in this opinion piece in Demar Waves. Yep, 'tis the season, folks. 'Tis the season. I want to remind you of this. Bingo that's coming up, fundraiser for the PNCR. Big bingo fundraiser coming up. Lots of prizes there. It's coming up on the 23rd of March. You got a little time to get yourself in order. On the 23rd of March, I think they've had 2 such fundraisers before. I didn't hear anybody complain. Lots and lots of prizes. The camaraderie is there. The socialization is there. Get out a little bit. Folks, you know, everything is not politics. I mean, most of it is, but not everything. And have a little fun while we're at it. It's coming up on the 23rd, folks. Make sure you got your tickets and so on. Lots and lots of prizes to be won, folks. And for me, it's just the camaraderie, seeing some of y'all, you know, face to face, you know, person to person, touching base with a few of y'all. That's it for me. And the fun, of course, and the recreation. You know how. But let's leave it there, folks. We're going to see you guys back later on today. Neon and Sharon and Everett. Jason. Right? Jason says, attention, undecided. From a prominent attorney to a double O not. Right? Bottom mirror, newspaper delivery boy. Jason, you're easy. Jason, you're not easy. Bottom paper, delivery boy. Yeah. See this thing called politics? Strange. You know, make men act foolish. Lose the reason. Or maybe there's method here. Or it's just full madness. Top to bottom. Folks, have a fantastic rest of the day. Stay safe, stay vigilant, be safe on the roadways. Please and thank you. That's our time and that's our program. We're going to see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, guys.